Times now it's back to the bronze. It's like, wow, he's back to the bronze. I'm in the booth straight dropping dimes. Clark Kent Daily Plan Metropolis Times. I write these raps while I'm under the gun. I see you back to get you some. A little bit of this and a little bit of that. Pure, raw, uncut rap. Back to the rhymes. Now's the time. Time to unwind because it's back to the rhymes. Back to the rhymes. Now's the time. Time to unwind because it is back to the rhymes. All right. And it's time for an update. Number one, School Us album sales. I made a mistake. I was in Ferndale. I did my show from Ferndale. I think I mentioned that. I think I might have mentioned my mistake already. Talking to a fellow who's a former carrier and drove a school bus. I mean, how did I not bring this up to him? Purchased it. I need to check Facebook to see if he became my friend. I'm not sure that he did. I don't check Facebook too much. But when I checked last, he hadn't. So who knows? But I did what I was planning to do for quite a while, which is go buy Access medical equipment, where there's supposed to be $10 in the drawer waiting for me. And when I talked to the receptionist, she knew nothing about that, and it seemed a little bit like I was bothering her, but that's all right. I will go. I'm supposed to call Monday. Let me make a note on my hand. Access medical equipment. Tomorrow is going to be quite a day. This is my last week at the Shell Carrier Annex for the time being. I'm going to make the shift over to Midtown, where it's supposed to be a country club. So I did win that bid, and that changes my schedule, and I don't know exactly how yet, but I can let you know a little bit. I'll work Saturday at the new station, and I can give you an update. Why is that important? Well, it means maybe I'll have more time for this, but it also could adversely affect my income in such a way that can be very stressful. So I don't know yet. Right now we're kind of doing all right with the income, but the time's not good. I think my number one objective, well, I'll come back to it. But, so that album didn't get sold yesterday. You know, I told it would. So we're going to have to find out what happened there. All right, number two, My Reformation music video. Number two. I don't know why. I don't know how this happened, but somehow I hadn't really watched it where I focused on it to the degree where maybe because it's like, okay, I'm about to release it, let me watch it back one last time. I need to add the thumbnail. I didn't do that. I got all my stuff here. And I watched it. I'm like, man, there is a part of it that's definitely not synced up. And I texted Noah, and I hadn't heard back because he's probably sick of it. And I'm like, man, how did I miss that? I could have caught that. It was kind of distracting when I was over at his place working on it, but I thought there's a part earlier, so it's the first verse, and earlier in the first verse, there's a part that's a little off, I can tell, but probably okay, but this one part, clearly off, and I think I'm going to have to eat that one, I'm going to have to live with that one, and probably go forward, because, like I said, what's he supposed to do, just keep going back and doing this over and over. He's been waiting for me to release it. Connected to that YouTube channel in general, where I shared the Leon trilogy 100 times, and last time I checked, I think there was 48 views of that. I didn't check to see the total hours watched to see if that overtook the number one spot. I should have done that. I'll have to get back to you. But it's like the number 7 most viewed video in the history of my channel here. get shared, will probably. And then if I compare that to Better Bread, because that was a playlist as well, Better Bread. Now, when I finished sharing it, it was probably right around 100. Now it's at about 130. And the final, I forgot to check to see what the final end credits were at, because that's the best way to compare it. I was comparing it to my songs. I forgot to check the end credits. Darn it. So that's the legit standard of comparison. And so it's not in the top 10, the end credits. So it's probably around 20 views. So, as for Leon's video, the final one's probably about that too. I think to get in the top 10, we're probably looking at about at least 29 views. So, anyhow, it's interesting to look at this stuff. But that's it. So, next will be the My Reformation music video. So, my plan is, unless I hear something from Noah, I'm going to put that out Tuesday night, if I can pull that off. Like I said, this week could very easily be pretty overwhelming for the last time. The last time we're working past 8. My plan is to never do that the rest of my male career, really. I'm in a position where that shouldn't happen anymore. So I'm not going to let it happen because I didn't have control over that. And that's going to be a huge step forward. And whatever I do to make money, it won't take me on past 8 p.m. That's my goal, and it's going to happen. If I do go past 8, I'll decide that, not the post office deciding that or whatever. So nothing else to share on that. I did talk to Leon about the definitive, comprehensive end times resource guide, and he's up for making that video. So I said, let's do that after I do my 100 shares of My Reformation music video. So he's up for that. It's going to be very good. Very good. It's funny, just talking to him, it's like, if you recall in the Bible where Jesus is talking to people listening to him, he describes, if your eye causes you to sin, cut it out. If your arm causes you to sin, cut it off. And so what is that? What's he saying there? And apparently Leon was having a conversation with a friend who said another person they knew actually went ahead and gouged out their eye. And we're trying to figure out how he did that. So he took it real serious. And Jesus was, so I said, because Leon knows the context of these things, because he knows the culture well enough to know how that would have been received by the audience. Because if I open the Bible, I just read it, I might take it literally. Well, that's not what was understood by those present at that discussion. So that fella really didn't need to gouge his eye out, and still he's, after doing so, he's probably still, dealing with sin, so like, he said the eye represents something, the feet and the hands all represent where we go, where we put ourselves, hands, what we do, eye, what we look at. So they're all representations of how we conduct ourselves. And so that's important, So that's why I like having him to discuss this, because virtually everyone I study the Bible with is like me. We just open it and read it and take it for what it says. And it's not like that. It's not meant to be understood that way. And we're a long ways from getting to the place where we're understanding it the way it's supposed to be understood. But we can start in that direction. At least I'm working on that. So rules of engagement, I don't have anything to add.